I'm Lesley Logan. I'm here at Westwood Pilates. This is in Los Angeles, and this is where I teach when I'm in LA. And I'm joining up again with Andrea Maida Pilates over at her YouTube channel. We're both talking about rowings 1 and 2 this week. So we talked about rowings 5 and 6, and then rowings 3 and 4, and then this is 1 and 2. And 1 and 2, for whatever reason, really confuse people. So I often, when I introduce rowings 1 and 2 to people, will just teach them rowing 1 or rowing 2 based on what they need for a few sessions before I introduce the other one. Only because for whatever reason, it gets very confusing with just all the coordination, all the choreography. And I think it's just really important that they feel empowered and that they were able to accomplish it, right? Because it's a lot. There's a lot of moving parts. There's parts that aren't moving. There's parts that are moving. And so I have broken down rowings 1 and 2 before in a how-to video on my channel, and you're welcome to check it out. But let's talk a little bit about what I found has been really helpful for me in making this exercise happen. I have a very weak spot in my back and the very, very helpful upper traps. So into the sternum, there's lots of different ways that people teach the handles, but I teach it like this. And it's because, you know, it's rowing. So I imagine if I was in a boat, this would be something I would do. And then when you go back, your thumbs really do aim to touch your sternum. So I kind of get stuck right about there. And I'm still in this like almost could be in a roll up, almost could be on my way to a teaser kind of position. Now my seat from rowing 5 and 6 and then 3 and 4 is really on, so I didn't slide around. When you open your arms here, this is the tricky part. The spring's gonna wanna start to close. You have to stay where you are as you push into the handles. So you don't get to dive yet. You push into the handles, connect to your back. And then the carriage stays still as you make your way. And ideally you hook your thumbs, but some days, if you have to bend your elbows to do it, it's better that you just reach and reach and reach and reach and reach, and maybe they hook. Now as you lift the arms up, it's tempting to go down, but you lift the arms up to lift the stomach up. You lift the arms up to lift the stomach up. You lift the arms up to lift the stomach up, and then you circle, and now the carriage can close. So that's the first time that the carriage got to make its way home from the moment that I started the rep. That makes sense? So you pull from your back, you connect to your back, you push from your back, you dive and you round, and you use your stomach to find this shape, and then you use your back to bring your arms together, and then you use your arms and your back to lift you up out of your waist so that you can circle all the way around. I kind of love that. It's just so easy to go down to gravity. So to use the arms and the back to help lift you up, it's very much like your double leg kick on the mat. So I was always taught this is 90 degrees, but it's really not. It's a little less than 90, so you don't get all bicep-y. And you want to lift up into your handles to connect to your back. And again, those legs and seat are working so that I can lean back. And then I can reach up and forward, and I'm going to keep pulling my ribs in so they don't flare. That's a flare temptation. And then I push into my handles, and I again try to use my mid-back to connect my arm and lift myself up and over, up and over, up and over, and I circle. And that's just a really hard part for me, is that part where the arms have to come together. I so badly want to go like this and make it happen, and then I want to do this and lock into my joints. But I really urge and challenge you, maybe don't be so obsessed with hooking the thumbs or even touching the fingers. Be obsessed with reaching the arms so much towards the foot bar and towards the springs that you can reach and try to connect your upper arm bones towards each other, which is just going to strengthen this whole area, which we've already discovered we will need as we go through our whole order on the reformer. Remember pulling straps we talked about 3 weeks ago, and how much strength it required to find length and reach into those straps, and how 5 and 6 really help set you up for your rowing series, but they also set you up for your pulling straps section, which comes next. So there's a whole method to this madness of the order, and when you really dive in, it's really fun. But that doesn't mean that you have to learn it in the order that it's in. You learn it in a way that helps connect one exercise to the next so that you get strong enough to do rowings 1 and 2. So For me, some things that you want to be really mindful of in the second one, aside from that you want to hook and jam and lift your ribs, is that you don't pull with your arms. Keep those arms there, and the arms are connected to the back. And you've already learned how to connect those arms to your back from the rowings 5, 6, and 3, and 4. So thank you so much for watching my tips on the rowing, and I hope you enjoyed Andrea Maida Pilates' tips on the rowing. And stay with us as we continue our collaboration. We've got more tips for you coming up